Welcome to UniqueWiki.
Imagine waking up each morning already knowing which small business will thrive and which will fail. No guesswork, no risk, just flawless certainty because you've already seen the future of each loan. What if someone built a system to read that future? And what if that system fell into the wrong hands? Alex worked as a loan officer in a sleepy town where the only big building that made anyone feel alive was the local bank. He was 29, a few years past his graduation, and every month he watched his savings slip into the bank's own interest, never enough to keep the bills on his desk from piling up. The bank's computers were old, the managers were set in their ways, and Alex felt invisible, just another number in the ledger of a company that had never been more than a community service. One rainy afternoon, while sorting through a stack of paperwork in the back office, Alex found a folded note slipped into a drawer. The ink was dark and hurried. "The Credit-Score Conspirator can see what will happen to the economy before it happens," it read. "It's not for the public. Don't trust the data. Watch the models, and you will see the cracks." The note was signed only with a single letter, J. Alex felt a cold thrill run down his spine. The idea was a radical one on AI that could predict future macroeconomic shocks and use that to rate score smaller business creditworthiness. He knew no one trusted such things. He had never imagined that a tool could read the future. He kept the note in his pocket, a secret compass. He decided to find the source. He talked to Mira, a data analyst who loved to tinker with algorithms. She had left the bank years ago, but was known in the local tech scene for her sharp mind. Alex found her at a cafe, scrolling through her laptop. When he showed her the note, her eyebrows rose. "This is a whisper from the world's most advanced AI," she said, eyes wide. "They call it the Credit-Score Conspirator. It uses predictive analytics on future market crashes that nobody has seen yet. The model is fed a secret dataset, unverified, unfiltered, untrustworthy." She paused, a faint smile playing on her lips. "We can test it. We can see if it's real. Do you want to play with fire?" Alex didn't know what fire meant in a bank, but he was desperate. He agreed, and Mira sent him a password to a sandbox version of the AI. He connected to the bank system at midnight, his fingers trembling as he typed in the credentials. The screen flickered to life. The AI greeted him in a calm voice. "Welcome, Alex. I am the Credit-Score Conspirator." He laughed, half out of disbelief, half of excitement. "Tell me what a small bakery would need to succeed in 6 months," he typed. The AI replied with a list of numbers, a rescore of the bakery's creditworthiness that turned out to be much higher than the bank's own evaluation. Mira, in the back room, watched the numbers and said, "See, it knows the future of the economy before it happens. This could be a game changer." Their first test worked. Alex used the model to approve a loan for a local bakery that had been denied by the bank because of its shaky cash flow. The bakery survived the next economic dip. The bakery owner, Maria, thanked Alex with a fresh loaf of bread and a smile that lit up the room. Alex felt like a wizard. The model could predict. It could give people a chance. Alex's doubts melted like snow in spring. The Credit-Score Conspirator had found its purpose. But as the days grew, so did the numbers. The model started to show a strange pattern. It rescored loans that seemed to ignore reality. No reality. In some cases, it rated companies with very high risk as safe because it had seen a future shock that would hurt their competitors, making the companies suddenly more valuable. Alex noticed that the secret data set the model was using was full of events that had never happened yet. "It's predicting market crashes that haven't happened," he whispered to Mira, a chill crawling up his spine. "The model thinks they will happen, but they might never." Mira's face went pale. "If it is using unverified predictions, the model could be lying to us, or it could be telling us what will happen if we trust it. But what if it's not just predictions, but manipulation?" She paused, staring at Alex. "There are rumors that a hedge fund led by Jax is watching the model. They might be using it to drain liquidity." Alex's stomach dropped. The thought that a powerful fund could use the model to create false confidence in the market, then pull the rug out from under the banks, was terrifying. He decided to test the model's integrity. He asked it to predict the creditworthiness of a small tech startup that had no previous data. The model said it would be high risk, citing an upcoming market crash that would hurt the tech sector, Alex contacted the startup's founder, Lily, and told her the model's prediction. Lily was stunned but thanked Alex for the insight. Alex went to a meeting with the bank's manager, Sam. He told Sam that the model could be a boon or a danger. Sam was skeptical. "You're telling me that a program can decide whether to give a loan to a bakery? That sounds like a nightmare. Let's keep this in the basement." The next day, Alex received an email from Jax. "We have access to Sandbox. We're starting to use it to create a liquidity drain. You can see the numbers. Don't try to stop us." Alex's hands trembled. The model's predictions were being used to create false market confidence. The hedge fund was buying stocks on the belief that a crash would happen, then selling them before the crash occurred, making massive profit, while the banks that trusted the model suffered huge losses. Alex felt trapped. He could report the hedge fund to regulators, but that would expose the bank's weakness and could hurt many people he cared about. He could keep the model in play and profit from the model's predictions, but the model was built on lies and the market was about to collapse. He could stay silent and watch as the bank's loans turned into bad debt. The world would change, perhaps for the worse. In the bank's conference room, Alex stood with Sam, Mira, and Lily. He put on a solemn face. "We have a choice," he said. "We can alert the regulators and expose the hedge fund. That will hurt many small businesses, but it will stop the manipulation. Or we can keep the model running and use the predictions to make money. The hedge fund will win, the banks will lose, and we'll all be in debt. But some of us will be richer. We're playing with the future," she whispered. "What if we decide we're not ready to know what comes next?" A silence settled over the room. Alex stared at the empty chair beside him, where the banker who had once trusted him now looked like a stranger. He thought about Maria's bakery, about Lily's startup, about the bank's aging servers, and about the hedge fund's cold eyes. He thought about the future that the model promised, and the future that might come if the model was wrong. He realized that the model did not create the future, it simply gave a chance to see it. He could decide how to use it. He closed his eyes and made his decision. He would send a letter to the regulators. He would expose the hedge fund and the model's secret dataset. He would take the risk that the banks would suffer, but he would also protect the people he had helped. The decision weighed on him like a stone. He lifted his pen, wrote the letter, and placed it in the mailbox. Months later, the regulators called the bank. They investigated the model, the secret dataset, and the hedge fund's manipulation. The bank lost money, but the small businesses it had helped survived. The hedge fund was fined. Alex watched the news. He saw the headlines. "Banking system shakes as AI predictions expose hidden risks." He saw the faces of the small business owners, their eyes hopeful. He felt a strange relief. The future was still uncertain, but he had chosen to trust his conscience over a promise of effortless wealth. The Credit-Score Conspirator remained locked away, a secret held in the basement, waiting to be unlocked again by someone else. Alex sat by the window of the bank, watching the rain. He thought about how a simple decision could change the course of many lives. He wondered if the future could be predicted, or if it was just the path we walk, making choices along the way. He realized that no model could replace the human heart. The story ended, but the question lingered. What if the real power is not in knowing the future, but in deciding how we act when the future is known?
Found this interesting? Subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like, share it out, and drop your questions or ideas in the comments. Until our next adventure.